Fury. I
right.
don't care about...
Tyson Fury made his presence known at the first
SmackDown.
Fox. Yes.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about... I hated the Hell in a Cell ending.
Right. I'm sorry. You're going to end it in a DQ in a Hell in a Cell. Okie dokie. It makes no sense.
I mean, I know ref stoppage, but I don't like it.
Yeah. It makes no sense whatsoever.
But in good news, NXT started on USA.
And they are doing great. I think that's great because they were smart and they're not touring with it. They're still keeping it very DIY, low budget.
I read they're going to tour with it, though.
Well, then.
I feel like
for now.
I think they're going to go to arenas like they're starting to look at, which is crazy that they wouldn't have. I feel like
as big as it's been.
Yeah,
like
I'm
like,
guys, like come on, like you're able to you will absolutely be able to fill up like the same arenas that AEW. I bet like mid-size sports arenas are like, okay, man, I dig. We're getting some of this sweet wrestling money, and AAC's like, damn it,
man. Why didn't we think about
because
this?
Like, seriously, if New Japan came back to the DFW Metroplex, they could go to like the R Arena or one of these arenas that
College
we're going
Park Arena.
And they would do just fine. They would fill that fucking arena up.
Without a doubt. I don't know. Yeah, I'm saddened that when we went, it was not as full.
Yeah, I mean, there were probably about 5,000 people there.
Yeah,
I think.
Which, if anything, move everybody down, black out the top, and then just kind of make it look bigger.
So any other WWE thoughts? I don't have any. So maybe some positive stuff from you.
I've been enjoying the NXT brand. I do think that they tried to shoot their wad too much on the same night that AEW
It was
debuted.
like a takeover-worthy card.
Right, because like they had 3 title matches.
And good ones.
Yeah, and the world title was the first match, which... I get why they did it storyline-wise, because after, the main event, which was the tag team title match...
They all came out.
And then you get Ciampa coming back. So
which you have to save for the end of it. You don't fucking...
Oh, no, you're not starting that. Yeah. Well, they did with Finn Balor, but it's okay because Finn Balor's actually been... There's like, oh, he'd been gone for a little while.
But I guess that's true. That Finn was the hour one surprise, and Ciampa was the
show closer.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that should be interesting.
I heard Walter had a great match with.
Oh yeah,
Kushida.
Yeah, Kushida. Yeah, that match. I was wondering how that match was going to go.
Brutal. That's how it went.
And then it was amazing. So
it was. I was like, oh, like the whole match. But then I was like, God damn, you boys know how to wrestle.
Walter takes bumps like he shouldn't.
No,
as a man that size, but he does,
and he's strong too.
He's very strong. So I'm enjoying NXT of all the brands that are going on. I think that one still is the shining light.
Is Raw the Nitro of the 2000? Like, is Raw like Nitro 2000 bad at this point?
Well, it is 3 hours. I don't get all 3 hours. Yeah, the storyline wise, we did just finish a draft, so we will have
a draft where literally there's like 1 million free agents.
Yes,
which I guess makes sense from a storyline because you can be like, oh my God, SmackDown has just signed Dolph Ziggler, and it's like, well, who gives a shit? Dolph Ziggler's a jobber.
Also, where's Brock Lesnar going to go? I don't believe I think he's still a free agent. Ooh, Dr. Pepper time.
Yeah, that cracked a cold one open.
There you go. That's a good question. I was also curious why some of the NXT people were not up for draft.
Because here's why they weren't, because NXT is the best fucking brand they have right now.
Right.
And I think they know.
Well, they're also filtering people in and out of there, so that free agency could mean they could go to NXT.
It almost feels though that like NXT is separate enough from the mainstream WWE that it makes it special. He's also opening a cold one, but not a Dr. Pepper.
Stone Cold would be proud.
He would be so proud. But they have elevated the brand enough where it can stand toe to toe with Raw and SmackDown, but it's a completely different dynamic.
Right.
Like a guy like Tyler Breeze could go back there and do well.
Yes, because obviously he's going back to Full Sail where he got his big break, and they'll take him in with open arms. Also, that way, like guys like Finn Balor can come back, and they're like, "Holy shit!" Like they're losing their minds.
I think that's probably especially if they don't have anything for these guys on the main roster. Like, what the fuck is Finn Balor doing before he was feuding with Bray Wyatt?
Yep. Yeah, he was. Well, he was IC champ, and then they lost it.
So he should have been like in the Universal title. This is
he should have been Universal title match.
They have all
as soon
these
as he came
guys at the IC level that I'm just like, they're better than this.
Yep.
They're just so much better than this. Like, you know who's good for the IC title? The Miz. Fucking let him have the strap all the time. I don't care.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind him being world champ again.
Yeah.
I think he's a little more busy than he needs to be right now.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he was a great world champ, but he is a damn good IC champ.
Oh yes, without a doubt.
And he makes it important.
Uh-huh.
The Miz has like slowly grown into like one of the people I respect the most in the business, and I just have no idea how that
And 5
happened.
years ago, if you would have said that, you'd be like, "What?"
I don't know.
Miz?
5 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, he's pretty good. But like 10 years ago, I'd have been like the guy within the tag team with John Morrison
With the stupid headbands and
with the fedora.
Yeah.
No, not that guy. Never that guy.
his shirt is literally a little chick and a magnet. I don't get it.
So, any other WWE high points?
No, this is a lot of storyline. Is not where it needs.
Not
to
good.
be.
And I figured with Heyman running Raw, it would have been better. But
Right, and then in Bischoff now, no longer.
yeah,
running SmackDown.
and I heard that they were like, "You suck, get the fuck out," and people were like, "I hate working for that man."
I wonder why. I wonder what happened.
Apparently, he was just not very knowledgeable of the product and didn't really. He was like, "Hey, man, it's 7:00, quitting time."
Ooh, that's no good.
And you know they don't do that in the WWE.
Nope.
It's 24/7,
24/7, like the title.
like the channel, like the title, like everything. All right, well then let's move on to what I consider, in my opinion, the sleeper hit of the professional wrestling world right now.
Ring of Honor.
No, I didn't even put Ring of Honor on here because I, frankly, don't think they're doing a whole lot. I wish I had, but
I'm not gonna lie. I do try to keep up with it, and they're not. I mean, Roosh is the new world champion.
I read that.
But yeah, other than that, it's not. It's kind of the same old, same old.
That's too bad.
It is.
But that's because there's all this other stuff happening, like the National Wrestling Alliance. Believe it or not,
NWA.
they had a new show debut on YouTube, and I've been saying this for a long time that like if someone really utilizes YouTube correctly, they could run it as a way to run like at least a small pay-per-view model business.
Yep.
And I think Billy Corgan's going to do it.
You think so?
I do, because NWA Power is an hour-long studio show. It feels like you're watching Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Everything I've seen, like picture-wise and GIF-wise and videos, it looks very retro. It's kind of weird seeing the people in the spots because I'm like,
what? Yeah, like where's Dusty Rhodes? That's not Ric Flair. That's not Arn Anderson. But it works, man. Like the intros and the graphics are very retro and like have retro 80s graphics, and the bumpers are synthy like it's a lot like our theme actually.
Now what's the entrance of them coming out? Is it kind of like Saturday Night Main Event or
no, they just like walk out. Like,
is there like a curtain at least?
I think there is a curtain.
Okay.
Yes. But it's very not, AEW or WWE big.
Nice.
I love it, to be honest with you. It's probably in front of an audience because it's in a television like studio.
Right.
So it's probably an audience of like maybe 300 people.
Wow.
So you hear everything, and these matches aren't like not barn burn. You're not watching Kenny Omega, Okada.
So they actually have jobbers.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, okay.
They have some like lesser known indie talent, like people that I've heard of, like Sal Ranianaro or something like that.
Sure.
He's a guy I've heard of.
Okay.
And he was like a jobber to like the one of the main tag teams. I don't think it was the tag team. I don't even know who the tag team champions are, but
God, they're the only ones who beat Villain Enterprises, and I don't think they've beaten since.
But I think it's doing great. Tim Storm and Nick Aldis had a really fun. It felt important match on the first episode. I haven't been able to watch the second one, but I hear it was good too. Colt Cabana and Mr. Anderson were there, and it feels like he's got a really good mix of old guys, old indie guys, and like newer indie guys that he's going to try to marry into this like cohesive story. In a lot of ways, I would consider what ECW did in the early 90s or in the mid 90s.
I'm sorry. I'm looking here. The Rock and Roll Express are your tag team champions.
Currently?
Date 1, October 1st of said year.
All right, well then
That's according to Wikipedia. I could be very wrong.
That seems strange.
I'm just...
It wasn't them though, so that maybe they but anyway,
very interesting. Sorry.
I feel like I do think the Rock and Roll Express was on the show though, and they look every day of the 900 years that they are
in their 5th reign. Oh, they defeated Wild Cards.
Maybe that was
Thomas Latimer and Royce Isaac. Isaacs. There's multiple.
So yeah, they've got a they got a pay-per-view coming up December 14th. No
Which
matches.
Is, I believe, sold out. Am I right?
It is, but it's also I think it's at
the studio.
Yeah, like I think that it's gonna, and I think that's fine. I think
that's smart.
I think if you establish like a home base like that, especially for a young promotion, you get like those rabid fans that like. I mean, that's why ECW worked, because they had every fucking
worked,
show,
and then that's why Impact worked.
That's exactly why Impact. That's why I wanted to
NXT
go to
works.
Impact.
Yes.
It's why I wanted to go to NXT at Full Sail, because like you get the same group of fans who are like so passionate about the product that they just fucking love everything.
Yep.
Then you take it out on the road and people are like,
right, because different pockets of the country, they're like, oh, I think I've heard of these people.
Yeah. But anyway, I highly recommend it. It's on YouTube. Okay. I read some positive stuff about it. Like they got a couple hundred or a couple of 10,000 the first view, and then like I guess they like linked it with. YouTube was like, if you liked AEW, you'll like NWA.
Smart, very smart.
So like, then they were able to gather some like stuff off of that, and like it felt like the algorithms were like doing the thing that they could do with professional wrestling like this to get you, and it's presented in a very good way. Like it doesn't feel like a cheap YouTube show. It feels like a TV show that they're showing you on YouTube.
Now, who is so the world champ is still Nick Aldis?
Yes.
And then Storm is what champion right now?
He is the national champion.
That's right, which is kind of their secondary title.
Yes.
Okay, and they only have 3 minus, and the women's title.
Yes.
Who is
Allison Sin?
Okay.
Is that her name?
Like, sure.
I don't know.
Because Jazz was.
Yeah, and they have like a new belt with like this lady's picture on it. Like that's not, they don't have nameplates. They have like their picture on it, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah, it's like a throwback to like an old woman's title. I don't know. I don't think it was the NWA.
I think there were some boxing titles that did that too.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool. And like it's like the nameplate, and I love the nameplate. So, but I recommend it. Definitely check it out.
I will check it out. I am off all this week, so I think I'm going to watch a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, you totally should. Yeah. So, speaking of awesome promotions that start with an N, New Japan Pro Wrestling.
New Japan just had the King of Pro Wrestling. That the only there was no titles change whatsoever, except we have a new U.S. champion,
someone we've spoken with,
someone we've shook hands with,
someone we've given a sticker to.
Someone who lives in the Metroplex. I think he still lives in the Metroplex.
I'm sure he's at least lived. He's lived here at the same time that we have at some point in his life.
Big Lance Archer is your new U.S. champion.
Congratulations!
Yes.
I remember when we went and saw him at the first night of the G1.
Right.
And
he absolutely
him and Will Ospreay had the best match of the night, in my opinion. And I remember being like, "Did I just watch a Lance Archer match?"
And he consistently got better throughout the climax.
Through the whole fucking tournament, he was so good.
So what had actually happened was there's a typhoon, so John Moxley could not make it to Japan. So since he could not make it to Japan, he was relinquished of said title.
Because he ain't defending it.
He's not defending it, so it has to be defended. So Lance Archer beat Juice Robinson, and we have a new champion.
New champ.
I'm very excited for it.
I am too. Congratulations. Yeah. You deserve it 100%.
I doubt they clapped that because, they were in Japan.
I was when I read about it. I was in the middle of the grocery store, and I was like, you deserve it. And I didn't care that people in Kroger were like, what are you doing?
Some old lady checking the back of
I was like, Lance Archer won the U.S. title, ma'am.
Sorry, Lance Hoyt. You might know him.
He might Shadow? I don't know.
I don't know what you're into.
Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. Also, the Junior Tag League just started up this past Wednesday as of recording time. And that's always fun because you get these younger, lighter guys
there's going to be there is a superstar in that bunch.
There's always a superstar.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like in that bunch of guys right now, there's the next Okada.
Yep.
There's the next Tanahashi.
They're just at the lighter weight at this point.
Yeah, and that's where they all start.
That's fine. Yeah. Nothing wrong. Well, I don't know if Okada did because he's a tall drink of water.
You're right. He is. He's a big man. He's a tall man.
Okada still is your champion, and it looks like him and Ibushi will still face each other at Wrestle Kingdom. So far, Ibushi still has the briefcase.
Still got it.
So I think that'll be an amazing match.
Cool.
And Ibushi could finally win the world title.
You think he will?
I don't see in me. I want Naito to do the double champ thing, which he's not the IC champ right now. Is
Ultimate Warrior
Jay White? Yeah, he's going to do that. He's going to Jay Lethal it. He's going to Seth Rollins it.
Oh yeah, Seth Rollins did do that, didn't? But he won like the
U.S. title
after he was. That's not as. I mean, it's impressive, but you're like, really?
Yeah,
that one.
All of them. I think that's the one he
but
broke Cena's
you
nose.
have
right?
the other one, so I don't know if you need that one, but okay.
Yeah, you're already the world
You
champ.
have the better one already.
Why would you want? Okay.
You're self.